Hello everybody, it's Lurgs here and welcome to my channel, and today checking the coolant level on a Vespa GTS. Now this should be applicable to all Vespa GTS models, but before we get started I think there's one thing that we really must do.
Hey, careful man, there's a beverage here, huh?
Always make sure you've got a lovely cup of tea if you're going to be working on the Vespa. So as I say, I'm going to be working on my GTS 300. And what you're going to need is a star sprocket. Now the size on the GTS is a 25mm. And the cover for the radiator reservoir coolant area is here on the top right hand side. So put your star sprocket in there. Turn it anti-clockwise a few turns. Once you've got it moving, you won't need to use the ratchet anymore. You can just use your fingers, which is a lot quicker. And then once you've got that screw out, the black panel just literally pulls out away from you very easily. And there is the coolant reservoir. Now it's really hard to see from the outside here between the min and the max. I found it really difficult, but there is a min and max marker inside. So if you just remove the lid and just have a look down inside there, as you can see, mine definitely needs topping up. Now they recommend that you flush the system every 2 years, and mine is due to be renewed, but I'm just going to top it up for the moment because it is a little bit low. Make sure you use Piaggio Vespa approved coolant. So just don't go mad with this, just fill it up a little bit at a time and then check the levels. So look down inside and then give the bike a shake just to see. And that is just about perfect. It's just underneath the max. Okay, so that's all looking good. So just tidy up any drippages. Put the lid back on. Don't over tighten it. And then just put the cover back on as well. And when you're putting the screw back in, always do it by hand first. I mean, everything, nuts, bolts, screws, always start them off by hand because you don't want to ruin any threads. Then obviously once you've got it started, you can just use the star sprocket again just to tighten it up. Now you don't have to go mad with this. I just tighten it up by hand, and then with the ratchet, just literally a quarter or half a turn just to tighten it up. But don't over tighten it. So that's all done. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start the engine up and I'm going to let it run for 5 to 10 minutes because I just want to check that the radiator fan is working on my GTS. Now this fan should cut in when the temperature starts to get too hot. So this is the view from the right hand side as we're looking forwards. And that is where the radiator is. Obviously it's just behind the front wheel. Now the fan is actually on the other side, and I'll show you that as we move around. So that is the front of the radiator there, just behind the front wheel. And then obviously it goes right across. Now the fan is actually behind this part of the radiator, so let's just move around a little bit further. So the cooling fan is just in here, and that should kick in when the engine starts to get too hot, and I'm just going to test that. Now I have edited this video. I let the Vespa run for about 8 to 10 minutes. And there we go, the fan has just kicked in. And if we go and look at the temperature of the engine, Obviously it is getting very warm, so that's good news that the fan has kicked in. So now I can just turn the engine off and just let it cool down. If you found that video useful, please subscribe by pressing this button down here. I really do appreciate you visiting my channel, guys and girls. And if you'd like to select any other videos around here, that would be really cool. Be sure to hit that bell notification tab.